these perpetrators committed on the grand stage of the NBA.
Players alter their performance.
Well-known professional athletes and coaches like Chauncey Billups, only to be unknowingly deceived through rigged shuffling machines.
The NBA tipped off this week.
The Italian crime family.
And you know what that means? It's time for another episode of Law and Order Sports? Chauncey Billups? Denver's Chauncey Billups was arrested in connection with running illegal poker games with ties to the Mafia. Illegally rigged poker games, and Terry Rozier was arrested in a federal gambling investigation stemming from an incident in March of 2023 when the NBA was alerted to unusual betting activity related to Terry's performance in a game between Charlotte and New Orleans.
As the NBA season tips off, his career is already benched, not for injury, but for integrity.
And no team has been more affected by these arrests than the Toronto Rangers.
The Charlotte Hornets, the Portland Trail Blazers, the Los Angeles Lakers, and the Toronto Rangers.
The poor Toronto Rangers. Their whole season, their whole franchise gone before they even had a chance to exist. It's good to know that this investigation has shown the thoroughness that we deserve. They are crossing all of their T's and dotting their lowercase j's. For justice. If you recall, Gilbert Arenas was arrested for hosting illegal poker games in July with ties to the Mafia, and Malik Beasley was under investigation for illegal sports betting as well. I've dusted off the old law books, which led me to finding my old Playboys, and after I ran through those bad boys for a bit, I opened up the law books to help break down what this all means in Law and Order Sports. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel. We crossed 811,000 subscribers. I said we got to get to 810 by the end of October. We already did that, so fuck it. 815. Today's episode is sponsored. Nah, no, I'll spare you. I'll spare you for this one. But maybe you want to check out the FBI parlay? Chauncey, first coach arrested. Terry, first player, and Jokic with just a triple-double. Bravo. Now, I never followed up on the Gil Arenas story this summer, but he ultimately got arrested because a murder happened at one of the illegal poker games. Gil and Chauncey were part of illegal poker games, but Terry Rozier and Malik Beasley, their accusations are for illegal sports betting involving the NBA. Two different things with two different ramifications. The most important question to answer today is this. Was Chauncey Billups working with the cool mafia?
Waste management consultant.
Like the Sopranos, or the Goodfellas, or the bad mafia, like the one from Eastern Promises?
It's like a fucking ice cream.
Now, I did think the breaking news segment on ESPN's Get Up felt a little off today.
To the breaking news today, the FBI announced arrests today in two investigations of illegal gambling.
ESPN Bet has seen green.
Rozier's been arrested for his involvement in alleged sports gambling.
The wind is whipping off that lake.
This has been led by the FBI. The FBI made their arrest.
I gotta find me a New Delhi. You'll be back.
I was told Malik Beasley was not taken into custody.
Get exclusive talent markets and up to $1,000 in bonus bets with...
I can't quite put my finger on it, but something seems off. Anyway, before I get to Terry and Chauncey, I need to refresh everyone on what happened with Gilbert Arenas, because his arrest is really part one of this illegal poker ring thing. Now, Gilbert Arenas was indicted alongside 5 others for allegedly running illegal high-stakes gambling operations out of a mansion he owns in Encino, California, presumably with Pauly Shore and Brendan Fraser.
2 guys from Encino are going to teach him to be normal.
The group is accused of hosting poker games, specifically Pot Limit Omaha, which isn't just law for how much weed you can buy in Nebraska, and Gil was accused of collecting profits through a house rake. Arenas faces 3 charges: conspiracy to operate an illegal gambling business, operating such a business, and making false statements to federal investigators. At the time, Gil didn't seem too worried about any of this. He did a live stream right after he posted bail and joked about the arrest, which seemed a bit odd at the time considering the severity of the allegations. Now, according to the indictment, Arenas was accused of directing operations while another man, Arthur Katz, staged the house, recruited hosts, and collected rent from the organizers on Arenas' behalf. The games were managed by several co-defendants, including Yevgeny Gershman, a suspected member of an Israeli crime syndicate, as well as Evgeny Torvesky, Alan Austria, Yaron Cohen, and Evgen Krachun. Basically, a bunch of guys who sound like villains from 80s action movies. Now, the real reason that these poker games started to attract attention and get investigated is because a man named Emil Lahazil was shot and killed outside the rented home of one of these poker games. Now, I don't believe that home was rented out by Gil Arenas or had any ties to him, but it prompted the FBI investigation. Emil was in debt and had suspected ties to Israeli crime members. That's what sparked this whole thing. Now, police eventually targeted the Arenas mansion because a gambler who had lost $1.2 million in one night at one of the games told them he had been threatened by Israeli mobsters, and he named Gershman as the man running the operation out of Arenas' home. Gil is facing pretty serious criminal charges, I think, although I couldn't find a single update on his situation. He is still doing his thing on YouTube, of course. He has claimed he had no idea what was going on with the poker games, and he was just renting out his house. He's actually spoken about this, and when everything is wrapped up,
at the end of this, I should be able to sue for defamation.
That, of course, will depend on his ability to prove that he didn't know what this dude Gershman was doing in his home. One of Gil's first critics, though, was Stephen A. Smith after he was arrested.
Hey, listen, I got out of real jail before you got out of YouTube jail. All you got to do is hit a button.
Each comes with 5 years in prison, if convicted. It's not a laughing matter.
Turn on the red light. Yeah.
It's not a laughing matter.
Laughing? He was laughing? To be fair to Gil, that's how I also handled bad news. It's a defense mechanism, I think. Also, let's be careful with our words, Stephen A.
I know we saw Diddy get off.
Stephen A. later went on to Gil's show, which to me indicates Gil is probably going to be okay.
Holding players accountable, but you also hold former players accountable. Yep. As we know with Gil, had a situation a short while ago.
At the time, if you remember, Gil was loudly declaring his intention to cooperate with authorities if it meant avoiding jail time. He took to his No Chill Gil platform shortly after his release, openly was joking about snitching on his alleged co-conspirators and distancing himself from the operation entirely, which now makes me wonder if he was snitching on Chauncey Billups the whole time. Arenas insisted he had no ties to the people running the games and claimed he'd gladly offer up any information, if he had any, just to clear his name. Throughout the stream this summer, he defended the idea of snitching, even comparing himself favorably to rapper Tekashi 6ix9ine and poking fun at former NBA player Kwame Brown.
And today, he doubled down on the joke, showing up to his own show with an informant lunch. I've got to respect the commitment to the bit, Gil.
If the individuals involved do run crime syndicates, the last thing I would be doing is bragging about snitching, Gil, even if you're joking. Anyway, that takes us to Chauncey.
ABC News is reporting is tied to an illegal poker operation tied to the Mafia.
Chauncey Billups, who at the time of the scheme was a former NBA player and is currently the head coach of the Portland Trail Blazers.
Unlike Gil, the allegation suggests Chauncey was actually working with or had knowledge of the Italian Mafia. So yeah, the cool Mafia.
You got a wife who's a piece of ass. At least she was when you married her.
Chauncey is part of an arrest that involves 31 defendants rigging illegal poker games. And again, to be clear, poker games, not NBA games for Chauncey. The accusations against Billups are very different than that of Rozier. First question, if one is rigging an illegal poker game, who cares, right? That's a double negative. Rigging illegal poker games, not legal ones. Now, I'll allow this nerd to explain what was going on.
To participate in these rigged games by the chance to play alongside former professional athletes who were known as, quote, face cards.
Chauncey Billups, according to federal prosecutors, was the lure, the Mafia allegedly paying him for his celebrity to attract high rollers to poker tables in the Hamptons, in Las Vegas, in Miami, and right here in Manhattan.
As the NBA season tips off, his career is already benched.
Your winning streak has ended. Your luck has run out. Violating the law is a losing proposition, and you can bet on that.
When did FBI arrest press conferences turn into roasts? Is Jeffrey Ross going to host the next FBI press conference? Do you think they could get Jeselnik? Yeah, probably not. I don't think he'd do it. Look, these aren't get the guys together, drink some whiskeys, and play some poker with the boys type games, okay? These are illegal games with serious cash, allegedly intertwined with La Cosa Nostra, the most notorious Italian mafia. Did the FBI mention that?
Fund the Italian crime families.
By the Bonanno, Gambino, and Genovese crime families of La Cosa Nostra.
Justice against La Cosa Nostra. What you don't know is that this is an illegal gambling operation and sports rigging operation that spanned the course of years. The FBI led a coordinated takedown across 11 states to arrest over 30 individuals today responsible for this case, which is very much ongoing.
The fact that guys like Chauncey Billups and Damon Jones got mixed up in this is, well, it's sad. In addition to illegal gambling charges, there is also included wire fraud and extortion. Now, the rigged games occurred all over the country.
In the Hamptons, in Las Vegas, in Miami, and right here in Manhattan.
Fuck, I was really hoping for like one obscure town like Sheboygan. Sheboygan, the Malibu of the Midwest. So did the victims know that these games were illegal? I mean, they should. If the answer is yes, then do we really care that they got ripped off? Why are we supposed to care about a scheme to rip off people who are doing something illegal? Am I crazy to think the FBI should be investigating more important stuff?
It started in LA and then it came to Vegas for a few days, and it was all built around Chauncey Billups.
Chauncey Billups, according to federal prosecutors, was the lure, the Mafia allegedly paying him for his celebrity.
And the person who told me about it was like, look, I know the game runners. I'm telling you 100% this game is on the up and up. And I was like, well, I know a lot of the people that are involved, and I'm telling you 100% that it is not on the up and up.
What's wild is how the Mafia ran these illegal betting games while utilizing technology to swindle the players. Apparently, defendants utilized altered shuffling machines to read the cards in the deck and then relayed that information to an offsite operator known as the quarterback, and then that information was sent to someone at the table. Other cheating technologies include poker chip trays that read cards through hidden cameras, special contact fucking lenses like spy movies, and glasses that could read marked cards. And even X-ray poker tables that could read cards face down were being used. According to the FBI,
it's not hundreds of dollars.
Not two.
It's not thousands of dollars.
Not three.
It's not tens of thousands of dollars.
Not four.
It's not even millions of dollars.
Not five.
We're talking about tens of millions of dollars in fraud.
Not six. Not seven.
And one guy lost around 1.8 million. Again, if you're dumb enough to bet that kind of money and you're not at a regulated table in Vegas or on the World Poker Tour, that's on you? That's on you? The real problem is the other part of these arrests. This is what's pissing people off. The things sports fans actually are going to care about. The effort to rig stat lines through legal sports betting.
Players altered their performance or took themselves out of games to make sure that those bets paid out.
Terry Rozier is being accused of leaving a game early on March 23rd in 2023 with an injury to ensure the more than $200,000 in wagers on the unders for his prop bet hit.
Rozier exited the game after just 9 minutes, and those bets paid out, generating tens of thousands of dollars in profit. The proceeds were later delivered to his home, where the group counted their cash.
Why was Terry doing that shit is the question. Terry has $160 million in career earnings, and he's rigging his stat lines for thousands of dollars, allegedly? My brain does not comprehend. I hope this stain on his personal record and integrity doesn't cloud the fact that Scary Terry once wrote one of the greatest tweets in the history of the website. And he was right, too. The world would have been a much safer place if the 6'5" Osama bin Laden had been a 3-and-D shooting guard in the NBA rather than the architect of the deadliest terror attack in American history. I'm sorry, but if you see $200,000 in prop bets for Terry Rozier, that's gotta raise a few alarm bells already. I think a few of these plays should have already triggered some red flags in hindsight. Now, if we're talking about the NFL, I would say we should investigate Will Levis. But God knows you couldn't pull off some of that shit on purpose if you tried to do it 1,000 times. Jonte Porter, who has been banned for life from the NBA, pled guilty to leaving games early to help bettors win wagers on his performance. Those charges hit in July of 2024, but at least Porter claimed he was threatened to participate in rigging because of his own personal gambling debts. That helps explain the why a little bit there. Porter did a bunch of dumb shit though, including betting on NBA games himself, sharing confidential information about his health with bettors, and of course, altering his on-court performances. The true sin. Malik Beasley was investigated as well and later cleared this summer by the NBA, but this investigation could affect Beasley. Beasley is a free agent until the FBI clears him. He will probably remain a free agent. Damon Jones told bettors to bet on Milwaukee after learning LeBron would sit out with ankle soreness, which reminds me of an old episode of Everybody Loves Raymond, where Ray's dad Frank was bonding with Ray to get inside information about player injuries and game statuses, which should tell you how long this shit has actually been going on. As sports fans, and presumably as fans of the NBA, I think we have to ask ourselves what this means for the association, and what it means for professional sports in general. Sportsbooks, once as recent as a decade ago, are not only ingrained in everyday life, but they're inextricably tied with the major sports leagues now, right? I believe a lot of sports fans were weary of this relationship, but as long as something like this didn't happen, it wasn't going to erode enough trust to make a dent in the bottom line. Well, now the nuke has been dropped. The networks that broadcast the games have investments in sports betting. You can literally see in real time ESPN phasing out their ESPN Bet banner on the bottom of the screen while Mike Greenberg is discussing this issue. If that doesn't say everything about this precarious situation, I don't know what does. It's significant, though, that it happened in the NBA because that's the only sport where rigging has been more than just a conspiracy theory. It's a very real thing that dates back to 13-year NBA official Tim Donaghy serving prison time for his connection to a gambling scandal. Some of you might recall the 2002 Western Conference Finals between the Lakers and the Kings. In Game 6 of that series, the Lakers shot 18 more free throws than the Kings and won a game that Donaghy alleged was fixed by the NBA. So, this was never a fringe idea. It was very mainstream, and the NBA has had problems with it well before voters decided to legalize sports betting. We all want the integrity of the game protected, right? And not just because some of us make money via sponsorships from these very legal daily fantasy companies, okay? Stephen A. Smith said many people are saying this is just the tip of the iceberg. If that's true, the NBA could be fucked. I believe the other 99.9% of the players in the NBA aren't doing this. I think this is the iceberg. These isolated incidents happened in 2023. Maybe there's one in 2024. But we've known about Terry and Beasley since July. Another person I think that's in hot water is NBA Commissioner Adam Silver. After the NBA investigated Terry and Beasley, they came up empty-handed. Again, Beasley not arrested today. Terry was. If the FBI had proof of widespread player fraud, I think that would have come out today. So if someone that you're a fan of, say, is playing like shit tonight, it's probably because they suck or are having a bad game. And I hope that is true. I hope that is still true.
For this case, which is very much ongoing.
And if this is just the tip, we're in for some crazy shit. Thanks for watching That's Good Sports. Please subscribe here on YouTube. That's free. That's how you can support this channel.